Senate Democrats have the votes, for now, to pass the major climate and healthcare bill known as the Inflation Reduction Act. This is a major deal, but the path forward is littered with pitfalls, and this thing could go sideways very easily. Now, this video is going to be a deep dive, so if you don't have time to watch it right now, hit that favorite button and then come back and watch it when you have a few minutes. Now, I actually broke the news of this Democrat deal last night in my Newsgirl News Roundup email. You should probably sign up for it if you want to stay up to date on everything that's going on. It's free, so why not? The link is in my bio. Now, back to what's in this bill, what it actually does for you. Does it really reduce inflation? Plus, I'm going to talk about the Democrat deal that got us here and the dicey path forward. Generally, this bill will do several things that will bring money into the government, and then it will take that money that it generates and spend that money on specific things. In the revenue generating column, there are things like establishing a 15% minimum tax for corporations, the ability for Medicare to negotiate drug prices, which will bring the cost down for patients and the government. And it gives money to the IRS to go after higher income tax cheats, and it imposes fees on oil and gas facilities that are pumping metric tons of methane into the environment. The most recent estimate by the Congressional Budget Office found all those actions and many more will generate about $790 billion over the next 10 years. That's the money that's going to come into the government. And then over the 10 years, they're going to spend that money on several things going out, including things like climate policy programs and healthcare issues. On the side of climate, we're talking about things like extending electric vehicle tax credits and credits for making your home more energy efficient and clean energy manufacturing grants. But the bill also, fun fact, facilitates more oil and gas drilling through required sales of land leases. This bill also extends the subsidies for those who get their health care through the Affordable Care Act for the next 3 years, and it caps out-of-pocket prescription costs for those on Medicare at $2,000 a year starting in 2025. But here's the big one. Of that money that came into the government, $300 billion of it will go towards paying down the federal deficit. Now, will all of this actually bring inflation down? It really depends on which economist you talk to. Some say, in totality, overall, yes, it will. But skeptics say, yeah, that might be true eventually, but it's not going to get inflation down tomorrow. Now, for all of you who really want to look at the numbers, I posted the most recent Congressional Budget Office analysis on my website. Good luck. It's a heavy read. Now to the Democrat deal. The lone Democrat holdout, Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema, said last night she's willing to move forward and support this legislation. But she did get some concessions for her yes vote. She was able to get leadership to remove the provision from the bill that would have closed the carried interest tax loophole and instead replaced it with language to impose a 1% excise tax on company stock buybacks. She also was able to get some changes to the provision that outlines how companies can deduct depreciated assets from their taxes. Lastly, the process to get this massive bill passed is going to start tomorrow. Yes, senators are going to be working through the weekend. Looks like I will be too. Democrats are trying to pass this bill with 0 Republican votes. They can do it through a process called budget reconciliation. That process bypasses the filibuster 60-vote requirement and instead only requires a simple majority, 50 votes, plus the vice president's tie-breaking vote. That means all Democrats and independents have to vote yes. And now that Sinema is on board, Democrats have the numbers. But if you thought it was going to be that simple, you got another thing coming. Starting tomorrow, the Senate will vote to open debate on this bill through reconciliation. Then each side, Democrats and Republicans, each get 10 hours of debate time, though it's unlikely they will debate for 20 full hours. Then the Votearama starts. I know that's a funny sounding name, but it's real, and it's like a lightning round of debates and votes. During the Votearama, any senator can bring an amendment to the floor. They get about 10 minutes to debate it, and then senators immediately vote on it. These Votearamas get really, really ugly. Both sides put amendments on the floor to make the other side look bad and force them into politically uncomfortable situations. In this case, Republicans said they will make tomorrow's Votearama hell for the Democrats. After the Votearama is done, there is one more vote and then it's over. This whole process could be completed as early as tomorrow night, but it may stretch into Sunday. Then the House has to vote. But the House is on recess, so House leadership said members will be called back to Washington, D.C., and we are expecting a vote on the Inflation Reduction Act in the House, if it passes the Senate, of course, next Friday.